Hello everyone. Am I visible and audible? Just a minute. Hi everyone. We'll just wait a few minutes till Mahek joins. I'll just send in her request. Welcome. Um, it's almost 9:30. How are you? How are you guys? I hope it was a great day for you all. We're just waiting for Mahek to join in. Just a minute. Mahek is here with us, I guess. She's not able to join in. Hi.
Hi Shruti,
Hi, Mahek.
how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good.
How was your day since it's almost
It
9:30?
is good. Well, Sunday, so no work today.
No, yeah. Okay, so I'm Shruti Tambe. I'm a retractor and a committee member of the Professional Development Committee of the Rotaract Club of Nashik Youth Force. And today we are joining in for the session of ABCs of marketing, that is advertising, branding, and content creation of, of marketing. And Mehek is here with us to guide us through the whole process and difference between advertising and marketing and everything. So to begin with, hello Mehek. She is also a retractor and a joint secretary of our club. And she started as a content writing freelancer and expanding her avenues towards social media marketing. She is also the founder of Digifin, which is an advertising and marketing institution, like an institution. So her career is more inclined towards advertising, public relations, and social media marketing. So yeah, Mahek,
Lovely introduction.
welcome. Okay, so should we start this session? I guess everyone has joined in, most of the people. So should we begin? I'll go with the first question. So since you started out as a content creator and now you're the founder of Digifin, can you explain your journey in like a few words for all of us here right now?
So when I started, I didn't even know what I was doing. Like I just knew how to write, and I started writing randomly. Now there was this one time that there used to be summer vacations, and I used to go to my relative's place, and my aunt had a company. She just started with it, so she gave me like a task to do, which was around copywriting, and I did it pretty well. So then she asked me to help her through the process, and I didn't know anything till then. Like I just knew how to write. Slowly and steadily, the experience grew on. I started working with her. It was a wonderful opportunity because even she was like new in the market. She had a startup of skincare. So
Um,
that, and then I started researching a lot. Then finally, 6 months down the line, I knew what copywriting is, and I knew that I want to make a career in it. Then, with the word of mouth, I started getting more clients. Now, until then, I didn't knew what a freelancer was. So then I was like, oh, now I'm a freelancer. I never imagined that I will be a freelancer. It just happened. And then I did like in the COVID, I was doing a job for a year and it was work from home, etc. So I thought, let's expand this. Why should I constrain myself to a job, right? So then I left the job and I was very active in things like TEDx or road track, and that brought me a very good exposure to everything. And then finally, Digifin came into the picture, and now we are expanding. Yes.
Oh, that's an amazing start to your journey. So I guess all of us here are like very eager to know like what does Digifin exactly do? So we've
So,
heard that you're the founder and
right. So initially, it started as a content marketing agency, right? Content marketing agency is somewhere where you create blogs, content for websites or content for social media, etc. So you basically you take a brand in control and then you write for them across various platforms. Then slowly and steadily, we brought up a package of social media marketing, which went out great. Then there's email marketing, there's production, like campaigns for shoots, etc. Then there comes a package which focuses on branding, where we create a tone of voice, personality for brands, launching new brands. So these are a couple of things that we do right now.
okay. That's amazing. Like you put in too much effort in founding all the Digifin. Yeah. So like coming on to the next question, how do you manage studying and working together? Because I've heard you are a third year student and you're like doing so many things simultaneously. So how do you manage everything?
Okay, so COVID helped me honestly when I was when Digifin was happening or when I was working. It was when we were shut down, like the country was gone, but still, digital marketing was something that was booming at that point in time also. So I had a lot of time to learn more things, to give more to my clients, and studying was like my second priority then. I that, Actually, my dad is listening to this call, so I shouldn't say this.
Oh,
But so studying was always like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. But working was something that I really, really liked. So then after COVID, when everything got back together, I had a very big challenge in managing everything, because then there's college, there's work. So I
yeah.
was very clear on my point was that I will not leave studying. I'll just reduce the number of clients I have and I'll hire more people. So
Oh,
with that, I succeeded. And now, one more thing I want to bring in notice is that I'm a mass media and communication student. So it's very much inclined towards advertising. So I had two options: advertising or journalism, and I took up advertising. And all these subjects that I study right now are somewhere or somewhat inclined to what I'm working in. So I don't have to study, I'll say. It's more of experience
um,
and things like that.
so holding on to your point that you are mass communication student, mass media communication student. So also could you brief us on what and how does a mass communication student does? Like, because here in Nasik, we do not have that option. So, like, could you brief us on that?
I moved to Bombay. So basically, it's more of for the first 2 years, you study all these subjects. You have economics, you have psychology, you have copywriting, you have ad designing, and a lot of other things. But when your final year, like the third year, comes into the picture, as I said, we have two options: journalism and advertising, and we study things like social media marketing, digital marketing. Then we have ad campaign research as a subject, ad agency management, film designing. So all these subjects contribute to your skills, and you don't have to open a book and study. It's more of having the practical knowledge, right? So we go on industrial visits. We have a lot of internships all through the year. My college
Oh,
is hardly days a week. All the other days like we just explore the industrial side, and you have to be an extrovert to be a mass communication student, because then you attend events, you do pop-up shows, you do you participate in clubs, you grow your social network. So this is all about mass media and communication. It's no books, it's practical.
it's
And
all practical.
that actually affected, because in the COVID we had to study, because there was no we were having online visits, which made like a little bit sense but no sense. But then we did not have an option. So yeah, that is pretty much it.
That's great. So like we all know that writing content is like a rigorous task and like a very long process. It requires a lot of work and everything. So how do you approach it? Like, what is your take on it?
Basically, it's more of brainstorming. Like, for example, you have a brand and I am your content writer.
Yeah.
I have to understand, really. I have to uh, research very well what your competitors are doing, right? Because if you don't do that, first of thing, ideas can be common, but you have to see what your competitors are doing and make an identity of yourself, like a separate identity. So for that,
Um,
there are times when I face creative blocks, and when I do that, I just go for a walk, because you can't be sitting down and writing content for the entire day. That's not gonna happen. 1 hour, 1.5 hour max. Because all the
yeah.
other day, what you do is you research, you make sure that you are having a diary, a pen, you write ideas on it, you draw things. So it's a lot of scribble in your mind. You make mind maps, and then in content writing, there are various sectors. Somebody writes for social media, somebody writes for websites, some write for blogs, some create portfolios. So that various departments of content writing as well. But mostly, like in in India, is only one. If I'm a content writer and I just choose one sector, it won't work for me, because people want everything together. So for that as well, you need to understand what is the purpose of it. Is it for social media? Is it for website? What kind of audience is coming in? What kind of language they are going to speak? So your target audience and the writing should align
Yeah.
together to create a good piece of content. And then you have to re-edit it. You have to make sure that it is not too long. It should have very powerful words. Like for example, advanced payment is a powerful word. Pay in advance is not. So those kind of
Okay.
little things matter. And because it's a very tedious process, you need to make sure your deadline is set way far, so that you don't miss it. And this
You
is my
have to put in a lot of,
yeah. There is actually a PAPA, Papa, is a word that I usually tell everybody to describe content marketing. Okay? So P stands for problem. You describe the problem.
um,
A is advantage. What is the advantage if we take this solution? All right. Then comes P again, which is the proof. Like if I'm telling you the problem, if I'm telling you the advantage, what is the proof that you should trust me? And then is the action. A again is the action. So you give a call to action. You tell them what to do in a very subtle way. So that is like a secret to writing a good copyright.
I hope everyone's taking notes because these are like,
You can create your own metaphors, but yeah.
yeah. So, like to continue, like, do you take inspirations from other blogs and articles which are available online?
Right, I do, because then if I don't take, and like the more I read, the more I research, the more I get ideas. It's not something like if I don't take inspiration, then it's very less likely that I'll get a good idea. I use Medium. I have a subscription to it, and one can use it, like one can read 5 articles per day for free. So I highly recommend Medium as a good source to read. If you're not into books, you can just go through one article a day also. Then there is Substack, which is Medium in a very professional sense. Substack is mostly used by all the freelancers, all the book writers. Then, if you know, like we get subscriptions from the emails, right? Like if
Yeah.
you subscribe, then you get emails. So, Substack also provides that. So, a lot of writers are there, a lot of freelancers are there on Substack, so that they can uh, make a substantial subscribing model for themselves. So these two things I use on a daily basis. Other than that, Instagram, sometimes I go to other brands, like accounts of Instagram, and then I see what they are doing, what is new in the trend. You have to be very on hook with the trends, or else you miss it.
Yes,
You
yeah.
and every industry, like if you're working for a jewelry company, if you're working for a garment company, or say an app, all these three things are very different. So there are different trends for it. It's not like one you catch on a trend and then you can copy in all these segments. So that is also one thing you have to really take care of.
That was amazing. So, like you mentioned branding, now that you've mentioned it, like we'll head on to the next section. What exactly is branding and what is the difference between branding and advertising? Because
Okay.
we get really confused between those two terms.
So basically branding is where you create a piece where you have a brand, like you
Mm,
giving it a brand personality, you're giving a tone of voice, you create the logo, you show the story of it. Like for example, Rotract NYF, it has a logo, it has its mission statement, it has a vision statement, it has a
mm,
portfolio of what events they have done in the past. So this is their branding basically. When a brand starts, like you have to launch a brand, for example,
mm.
take any give me a good sector to launch a brand.
The clothes one, the
Clothes.
clothing sector.
So for
Yeah.
example, you have a hoodie company that you're launching.
Mhm.
Now
Yeah.
you have to make sure where what what logo has to be there. Okay? Then what kind of fonts are you going to use? What kind of language are you approach? Like you have to make sure you know your target audience well to decide all of this. Then what will, according to the price, like according to your target audience, you decide the price. So all
Okay.
these, you're creating a brand, and there's one very big myth that if you create like a brand personality or branding, it's done.
Mm,
Now you don't create it. Like once it's done, it's done. But that's not the case. It's more of you keep it ongoing. You build the personality over the time. It's not a one-time thing. And when it comes to advertising, it's more of making the brand aware, like making the awareness happen about the brand, making sure that this brand is reaching to the right audience, making sure that you're building the trust. So loyalty is one thing, trust is one thing.
mm,
When it
mm,
comes to branding, you create loyalty. When it comes to advertising, you create trust by portraying
mm,
testimonials, by portraying how good your clothing like product is, by doing experimental marketing, pop-up shows, events, doing influencer marketing. This all comes in advertising. But branding is solely based on creating a personality. You as Shruti
mm.
is a brand. Now you've created
Okay.
it over 19 years. You
Mhm.
you develop it every day. So
It's not.
I hope I'm like making sense.
Yeah. It's a basically it's a process, and you have to like
Yeah,
develop
it,
it and
it's
be
te-
up to date with the market trends. Yeah.
yeah, it's tedious in the start because you have to
Mm,
come up with portfolio. You have to
mm.
come up with different like the baseline things.
Okay.
So yeah,
So what was the creative process like when you were selecting the brand name for Digifin? And like the design and the theme process behind your
Okay,
brand?
this is a very interesting story. Basically, my mom and dad used to run this company called Dolphin back when they
Oh.
were young, okay.
Mhm.
They were computer engineers, so they had a computer institute. There are various courses and things. So it was named Dolphin. I wanted to continue that legacy.
Oh.
So I did Digifin because Dolphin, like, it was already a brand. And it made sense to make it Digital Dolphin, so like Digifin. And I've kept the logo this like as it was. I did not change the logo. It's just that the font is like a little technical. If you see, like it's something that gives you a computery and tech feel. And why is that? Is because the whole company is related to technology and advancements. So that is there, and the tagline is like so there's a theory that dolphins sticks to their mothers for a very long time, for a very long time. So I made it this way that we stick to your brand for a very long time, so that you can
Oh,
trust us.
that's
So
amazing.
yeah, this was the whole creative process. It is more of a personal attachment that I have to the
Okay.
name of the logo. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a question from the audience from Tanishq Pinti. He says that so we can say branding is a story and advertising is spreading that story as awareness and other objectives.
Yeah,
So what do you like?
a
Yeah.
story. Like you create a story from the start,
Mm,
and awareness
mm.
is, of course, advertising. True that.
Okay. So, like, we know that branding involves the feedback process, like receiving feedback and like replying and working on those feedbacks. So, you have like a various range of feedback. How do you tackle those negative feedbacks that you receive? Because, yeah.
So, uh, in content and copywriting and social media, what
Mm,
happens is campaigns fail. Some campaign will be heard, some campaigns will fail. And there
correct.
will be a negative criticism for the campaigns. And you know, even if a campaign is gone, like it has reached 1 million users, still there will be people who will not like the campaign. And it is very important for the people who create campaigns to know what is their approach, what is the approach of their audience to it, so that from the next time they keep in mind. So when I get a feedback, I do not justify why I did this or what was my intention. I listen to the person because they are my target audience, right? So
Mm,
I need to know what are the other kind of perspectives that I can expect from next time, and what are the changes that I can make. Every campaign is not for everybody. Like a campaign will be very like if you are a sports person
mm,
and I create a very good relatable content which is related to cricket, and you will understand the campaign because you watch cricket or you watch. But
yeah,
somebody who is not a sports person, they will mock at it because they've not understood it, or they
exactly.
would basically uh, a campaign has to be clear enough as well. It's not like uh, you know it should be very streamlined or have a very deep metaphoric uh, approach. Because what happens is when you create a campaign, you have to make sure that it reaches to the maximum people possible. Like, be generalistic but also
Mm,
unique, which comes
okay.
over time. I can't give you the tips on how to do it. It comes with practice, honestly.
Yeah, so so basically this is another part of the process, like tackling with negative criticism and responding it in a positive way.
It is more about
And then,
understanding person's
Understanding.
because it's a
Um,
creative process. You need to understand. If you go to
mm,
an art gallery, you see a painting, you might
mm,
like it, you might not like it.
no,
But your friend
yeah,
don't like it, your friend might like it. Now you both have different perspectives to it, right?
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the entire point. That you need to understand the creative mindset behind, you know, what's happening around. And then maybe it will help you develop your skills even more.
Okay. Really great and amazing feedback. So, do you believe that social media marketing is for every business out there?
I feel so when it comes to only social media, like it is not for everybody. But if you
Mm,
consider digitalizing your business, then it is for everybody. Now, for example,
okay.
there are
Mm,
brands who do B2B services.
okay.
When it comes to cement dealers, or when
Mm,
it comes to, for say, um, you can take any other traditional sort of, like, for example, farmers. Okay,
mm,
if they are producing, like, if there's a production house, they're doing a B2B business. So when it comes to uh, traditional businesses like this, social media will not help. What will help is a
mhm,
website, because a website will have its, like, the entire portfolio of the brand.
mhm,
What will help is other things like Instagram won't help, Facebook can help. So it really
mhm,
depends on type of the business. Now, even if a brand, a garment brand,
mm,
if it's producing ethnic clothes, or if it's producing kurtis, like, you might have seen a lot of you know women entrepreneurs who resell
mm,
clothes. Now Instagram doesn't work for them, but Facebook does. So even
mm,
that is like a little bit streamlined. So I won't say that
mm,
social
mm,
media is for everybody. It's just that you have to identify the platform well. Now you only tell me, like, uh, 5 years ago, if builders were
mm.
to market on Instagram, apart from visibility, would they have got any leads?
No,
But
nothing.
right now, times are changing. So, uh,
Thanks.
yeah. So it
Mm,
also, this factor is also important, that you study the market well. That what kind of audience can you find on a
mm,
particular platform? If you have a
yeah.
waste management agency, now waste management
Mm,
agency is basically uh, where the garbage is, segregated and all of those things. If a
mm,
company like that makes a social media Instagram account,
mm.
it won't reach a lot of people. But if they make a
No.
website, it will help
Mm,
them build a portfolio.
okay.
Yeah.
To
It's
sum
a little
it up, it's mm,
understand. It's a little complicated to
mm.
understand. You can try things out, but
Mm.
you have to research for it.
It might result into a failure, so you have to take your chances and like study the
Yeah.
market and your business very well.
Yes.
Jumping on to our next question, what are some red flags in a creative field like one of yours?
Okay. So, first, when it comes to as a digital marketing thing as a whole,
Mm.
there are there's no timing of work. You know, you can set boundaries, but
Okay.
then when you have
Mm.
to work even late hours, or
Mm.
there will be times when Monday will be free and Sunday will be not free.
Oh,
And if I consider content writing or content creation, you you might get a content idea on Sunday or at 3 a.m. at night, and you will have to work on it right there, because in the morning, if you think I'll do it in the morning, then the the transparency of the content will, like, go away.
good.
And then there are a lot of clients that they need things at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. Because the whole media thing works at night mostly. Like I don't want to generalize this, but this is what I've faced. If there are shoots, you can't really say that I will go for 2 hours, and if this extends, then I'll just leave. That cannot happen. If the content that you thought would work, if it doesn't work, you have to sit and create new content right over there because you've already paid for the production.
Yeah.
So that is one red flag. That timing is a little bit of a problem, but it also gives you an advantage that you don't have to do a 9 to 5 unless and until you are working in an office or there's a typical, streamlined culture over there. I have done internships in a lot of agencies, and there I had the freedom to go like on any time and come back anytime I wanted. So that's how the entire
Get
thing
the
works.
freedom you want
Sorry.
in this field. You do get the freedom you want in this field as well, but there are some restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, if so, today when I'm sitting right here, after this, I know that though it's a Sunday, I'll have to give some time to, to my work so that in the morning I can attend college.
Uh,
Even that's a struggle. And then there is creative blocks. If I was going through a major phase of creative for 2 months last year, and during that last year, I was making content as in like the worst content ever. But then those 2 months, like it is a process of growing. So it was okay. How
you have
I
your options.
is by reading more, by listening to people, by going to people, speaking to them, and by creating. Like I didn't be like, अभी तो मुझे आइडिया नहीं आ रहा है तो मैं नहीं बनाऊंगी content. The more like I started creating more and more and more, and then finally after 2 months it was gone.
Because most of us are stuck. If we are stuck at some point, we don't want to work onto it and we just ignore and we just don't go back again to the point where we are stuck. So instead of doing that, we could like research onto various areas and like, remove that obstruction.
Right.
So, heading on to the next question, what is one myth that revolves around advertising, and would you want to burst it? Like,
Okay. So since people are not very aware of how advertising is different from marketing, how these both are different from branding, and there are subtypes in advertising also. Like for example, mine is a content marketing agency. I don't do
okay.
influencer marketing. But when it comes to business owners, there are a lot of times that they don't know. They expect a lot. Like if they're hiring a digital marketing agency, they'll expect sales from there. They'll expect influencer marketing. They'll expect email marketing, etc. But it has to be, you know, if agency is providing all of this together, that means either the agency is very big with a very tight budget, or it is a generalized one where they're just trying out things. Now, if as a professional I give you everything, then I'm master of none, right? Or I have a big team, or there are people working under me who are specialized. So this is a big myth that like a digital when you hire a digital marketing agency, you will have a boom with marketing, but that's not the case. It's a part of advertising is a part of marketing. It's more related to making awareness happen. Even in advertising, then there are structures like content marketing, as I said, social media, ad campaigns, influencer marketing, production, and a lot others too. So yeah, this is more. This myth was more related to the clientele, but it is
Fine.
important to burst it.
So we got to know a lot much from this session. Like than what we've studied in our schools, which is just like some definitions and theoretical part, but this is like in practical experience, which we are having right now. So I'll take one question from the comments. So Ishan here says that in which companies have you done your internship from? Like,
For that,
yeah.
please check my LinkedIn. You will get everything there. It adds to the bio, the profile, so you can go.
Okay, so that was the answer. Heading on to our next question. What are the basic rules of marketing and how do you make it safe for your clients in such a way that it's non-offensive? Yeah.
So basically, my rule is having no rules, because if in marketing I restrict you to to be in a box, then how will you be however will you be unique? But one thing, of course, is there. One thing is that you can't create rules in general. If there's a brand, every brand differs from each other. And if I create a general rule for everything, that your content should be, always right, it should not have any negative words, it should not be like offensive or something. These are the basic things. But then if I make it as a rule, then how do I expect good content from people or unique content? And if of course we can change it later, right? When I get the content, when I re-edit it, in the re-edit part I can, make it in a way that it is subtle enough. But then from the start, if I restrict everybody, or if you restrict yourself, then you're not getting. Negative PR is also PR.
Uh,
Simple rule. You see in Shark Tank, right?
yeah.
Now who does negative PR there? And he's grown so famous.
Um, the one from the judge. Yeah, I don't remember his name
Ashneet
correctly.
Grover.
Yeah, Ashneil Grover.
So so this was like a metaphoric example, but my point was that if in marketing you keep rules, then I don't think you'll be creative, and maybe any other agency, you won't be like standing out from the crowd. Just make sure that you're not very harsh on the language, and your language is pretty simple yet creative. That's
Yes.
it. You just have to convey the message. Content is all about a message. If you know that message is, now the message can be conveyed directly or in a subtle manner or through influencers, like a third person. There are various approaches to the message, but the message should be decided. Like the the awareness should be about the message, and the message should be decided way prior. That's it.
Basically, the to conclude all of this, there is no rule in this field of marketing. The rule is to have no rule. Yeah.
Yeah, just go with the flow, see what others are doing, and make sure you brainstorm and come up with better ideas. And
Yes.
see what your brand wants. More like people don't understand that it's not you, it's about the brand. So it's never about what you want, it's always about what your brand wants.
Yes. It was an amazing session. Yeah. Like, I got to learn way too many different things, like which we haven't heard in our normal sessions and lectures what we attend for marketing, advertising, branding, and content creation, basically. So,
Thank you.
to wrap up our session right now, like the last question, not a question, but like since we have our Magic of Marketing event on 15th of January, which is like just too near, what would you like to see for it? Like,
So, this event comes under my avenue itself, like professional development. You guys are
yeah.
curating it. And I would say uh, the itinerary is very well sorted, because it's not just a webinar, it's more of the two
Mhm.
activities which I really liked. One was the startup one, right? The
Yeah.
two activities have.
Two
One is,
activities, like
one is
product, dumb charades, and
yeah, products dumb charades, and the other one is Shark Tank India. I don't want to like
shark.
burst what they are right now because I want people to come and experience it. But the speaker itself, like I've interned with Navneet sir at Sins. It's based in Nasik, so I was interning there for 3 months, and then I was also working there for a quite brief time. And my internship was amazing. Like that was my first ad agency internship. So I gained
Oh,
so much from there. The people working with Navneet sir as a mentor is really, really like it. He helped me a lot to even start digital. Like he when I joined, since the first thing that he told me, after all, your goal will be to start your agency, right? So take it like how much ever I can, like learn from the whole agency. My work was as a content strategist, but I learned graphic designing, I learned client servicing, I learned how to run ads, all of these things because I showed interest. So he was like, I won't come and tell you what to do. I'll just tell you the basic tasks. But then otherwise, you have to go ask people to teach you things. And I did that and it worked out very nicely. I also
that
I
really,
was also responsible for, talking to a lot of clients. So I understood how the entire process works.
so, like, to conclude, we should have a will to learn, and like we should constantly be curious.
Yeah, that helps. And during this internship,
Right.
in the middle of the internship, I got a job, the one I was talking about
Mm.
for 1 year. So I was doing those two things simultaneously, and it was like making content in the afternoon, going doing some workout, which was a break for me, and then working for the job. So uh, I was a whole lot of content machine. I wish I had the capacity to develop that kind of content right now. It is because of the creative block that has gone a little down, but I hope I get it back.
Yeah, you will surely. Like because of all of your experience and so many things going on in your life right now. It's like amazing. It was amazing to have you here.
Thank you so much, and I hope everybody makes it to the marketing event because I'm so excited for it.
Me too. It's like it's
Yeah,
gonna be a huge event and an amazing one.
you will be busy in hosting. I'll be the audience, so I'll have fun.
Audience. Yeah. But it will be great for us, like if you all of you have fun. I mean, the event is so that the audience will have fun and like gets to take away what they wanted to learn. So,
Right.
so thank you everyone for being present in this live. Yeah,
Thank
should we wrap it up?
Thank you for hosting, Shruti.
Thank you, Mahek, for coming.
Bye. Good night. Take care.
Bye. Good night.